Hi, everybody, and welcome to the STEMdemic podcast by TheMedClub. At this point in time, there are only two things that we bring up in our conversations: being practically quarantined and being bored. Feelings of boredom are byproducts of the coronavirus pandemic that has caused the world to approach a standstill. Maybe it has given you the opportunity to be more productive at home, or with your schoolwork, or even with your blogging. But for the duration of this video, we are going to embrace the seriousness of the facts that this pandemic entails. Let's call our first guest speaker, Sindhu, to start gaining a greater perspective on this solemn global concern. The exact trigger of this horrific virus hasn't been traced yet, but according to the speculations and findings of the researchers, what is believed to be the origin of the COVID-19?
The source of the coronavirus is still unclear, but is believed to be a wet market in Wuhan. These markets are densely packed, which poses a heightened risk of viruses jumping from animals to humans. This is because the hygiene standards are often hard to maintain when live animals are being kept and butchered on site. The animal source of the latest outbreak has not yet been identified, but the original host is thought to be bats. Bats were not sold at the Wuhan market, but may have infected live chickens or other animals sold there. Bats are a host to a wide range of zoonotic viruses, including Ebola, HIV, and rabies. A study published on the 3rd of February found that the bat coronavirus shared 96% of its genetic material with the same virus that causes the COVID-19.
Thank you for providing us with that integral information, Sindhu. It was great to have you. Now, let's call our second guest speaker, Rupambika, to obtain a deeper understanding of the virus's widespread effects on our planet. Noting the catastrophic effects this virus has had on the entire population of the world, it is crucial that the public knows the current distribution of the virus amongst the public and are also aware of the future of COVID-19. Would you care to shed some light on these topics?
A lot of nations actually want to achieve herd immunity, but herd immunity can only be achieved when a large percentage of the population has become immune to certain infection, whether through vaccination or through previous infection. Government sources in Germany and the UK actually stated that 60 to 70% of the population will need to become infected before successful herd immunity can be achieved. Scientists are evidently divided on the matter, with no consensus being reached in the scientific community. Most of those who passed away till now due to the coronavirus were the elderly, with about 80% of deaths occurring with those who've been above the age of 60, and 75% of deaths occurring in those who had pre-existing health conditions. However, this does not mean that young people are free of risk. Young people are at an equal risk of contracting the disease. However, complications that do arise due to it may not be as adverse. According to the Center for Evidence-Based Medicine, there's an 11.43 case fatality rate in Italy alone, which is basically a representation of those who have been infected to those who passed away. Justin Laszlo of Johns Hopkins University actually stated that if you flatten the curve, it may peak in July or August. However, if you don't flatten it, it may peak much sooner, but very unpleasantly. Researchers have also stated that the outbreak may become endemic, which means it may be permanently present in a population of a certain region. Hopefully, we can counter this. Now, let's talk a little bit more about underlying health conditions. So, we know that those who have underlying health conditions are more at risk of contracting and succumbing to the disease. So, rank in order of case fatality, it's cardiovascular disease, followed by diabetes, chronic respiratory disease, hypertension, and cancer. What's interesting to note is that those who have existing respiratory conditions aren't as much at risk as those who do have diabetes.
Thank you so much for coming and shedding light on this topic, Rupambika. Let's call Pranav to gain a better understanding of the inner workings and structure of the coronavirus. Many are aware of the way the COVID-19 has depicted itself in front of the world's population. Would you mind explaining to the audience the virus's structure which assisted in its external depictions, that is, its widespread effects? effects.
So the coronaviruses form an integral part of a family of RNA viruses that are scattered across mammals and birds, often giving rise to severe respiratory issues, and for some extreme cases, hepatitis or even neurological issues. Of all viruses, the genome of the coronavirus stands the largest, genome meaning the entirety of genetic material that is present in a cell. Their large genome serves as a huge advantage when it comes to gene expression. As we all know, it maintains contact with any hard surface for up to 72 hours. As a result, careless contact with any individual or object that lacks sanitation could lead to the contraction of the coronavirus. This information is something that the WHO has stressed upon endlessly. As we've all learned, once a virus enters our body, it uses our somatic cells to facilitate its rapid reproduction, and as a result, symptoms develop.
Thank you for coming in and helping us develop a better understanding of how the virus works to produce its horrendous and widespread effects. Let's have a chat with Sarah to gauge the current situation in Singapore and some other adversely affected countries. China is a country that has tremendous influence in the world, whether it be politics or business. Seeing that the coronavirus launched its outbreak in China, how has that impacted the well-being of other countries as we speak?
This pandemic, for obvious reasons, is of significant relevance. Singapore, as of March 26th, had witnessed 683 cases and 2 deaths. Also, the Ministry of Health has issued a DORSCON level at orange. The WHO set apart Singapore as an embodiment of vigilance and efficiency when it comes to containing the virus. For a country of 5 million people, Singapore has done exceptionally well to contain the virus, and that is something we should all take pride in. A country that many share a bond with would be India. To oppose the spread of the virus, India had declared a commencement of a 21-day nationwide lockdown. The spread of the virus in China is slowly decreasing, and the province of Wuhan, where the virus originated from, had officially released its last patient about 7 days ago and is now claiming to be coronavirus-free. But the WHO officially declared Europe as a current epicenter of this issue. Deaths in countries like Italy have amounted to numbers like 627 on a day-to-day basis.
Thanks, Sarah, for helping us gain a greater perspective on how the virus has unfortunately had a deteriorating effect on several countries. Let's connect back to Pranav to help understand what steps we can take as individuals to prevent the risk of COVID-19. Seeing as this disease has become widespread, what do you suggest we can do to mitigate the influence of the coronavirus?
We obviously have to adopt various practices that lay emphasis on hygiene, but before that, the most important thing to do is stay home. Not only does going out increase your chance of getting infected, but if you are asymptomatic, you will be responsible for facilitating the spread of the coronavirus to other people. The coronavirus's incubation can last to about 2 weeks, so it is a very common occurrence that symptoms don't show and you're unaware of the fact that you're infected. So I'll try my best to condense the measures that need to be taken, starting off with the basic act of washing your hands. I'm sure you all do it every day, but now's the time to build a greater conscience and really place more importance on that aspect of your life. Carry sanitizers and alcohol rubs with you when you're outside, although I would not encourage going outside. When a person coughs or sneezes, droplets persist in the air, and inhaling these droplets could lead to the contraction of the virus. So please maintain a distance of about 3 meters with any other person in any public area, and always wear a mask when you're outside. Avoid your conventional handshakes or your fist bumps or your hugs and as methods of greeting. If you have a fever or any single minor symptom that could be linked to COVID-19, please seek medical attention and stay home until you're updated by a family doctor or any other health authority. Avoid touching your face frequently and touching other surfaces because the coronavirus can persist on hard surfaces for about 72 hours. Trust the government and trust the information that they give. Stay in touch with the information provided by the Ministry of Health to learn more about the current situation or to be more aware of the current cases. Keep reading from credible sources such as the Straits Times or even Channel News Asia.
Thank you, Pranav, for coming in once again and talking us through how we should take care at every step of the way. That is the message that we wanted to share with all of you today. Thank you for taking out your time and listening to us. We hope that all of us tide through this difficult situation. Be positive and don't test positive. Stay tuned for our series and several other interesting issues. We'll be back next week. Signing off, we are the MedClub, presenting the STEMdemic podcasts, and we will continue to help spark your curiosity in solitude. See you all soon.